So while I was on my mission, I had an opportunity to stay for 6 months in Ormoc City in the Philippines. It's on Leyte Island. And I had the most amazing time there. It was a dream come true to live in Ormoc. It was a dream come true to just live in the Philippines. But Ormoc being a bigger city in the Visayas, I saw a lot more things than I did when I was in smaller areas of the Philippines. There was, for one, there was a ton more people. The streets were always crowded and busy. And even though people were moving quicker, it still was the Filipino feel. It was still a Filipino aspect. I felt like they cared about me. I felt like they wanted to talk to me. I felt like I was still welcome, even though it was a little bit more fast-paced. One thing that I noticed is that it was a lot easier to catch transportation while I lived in a big city, because there was a lot more jeepneys, there was a lot more tricycles, there was a lot more motor cabs than there were in the smaller cities. And so I was able to see more things. I was able to get more places, to meet more people, because there was so much more transportation. The city was laid out pretty nicely. Everything was very, very close together, so we could get from one spot to another very quickly. It was kind of hard in the morning to go places, and around dusk, it felt like rush hour traffic, like we have here in America. But it was just so nice to have everything so close, and to be able to, if we had an emergency and like we needed this and this and this, and we forgot to buy ingredients for dinner, we ran out of food or whatever, something was so close and we could just run and go buy something. And it kind of saved us a lot of the times, because in other parts of the Philippines or in other cities where there wasn't very many things close, it would have been hard and we would have been stuck in a very bad situation. Also, living in Ormoc, I got the opportunity to see how the city works. And one of the things I loved is you guys have in Ormoc like a town square kind of a thing. And there was always like festivals going on, food festivals, or the skateboard competitions, BMX competitions, or one of my favorite things was during Christmas they put up the most gigantic Christmas tree I've ever seen in my whole life, and it was beautiful. They put up a huge Christmas tree in the town square, and everyone was like fleeing to the Christmas tree to take pictures, to just enjoy and feel the Christmas spirit with their friends and family. Living in Ormoc, we did get to eat out a lot more, which was nice. We weren't cooking as much, because there were so many places we needed to be, and there were so many people we wanted to see and meet and talk to. So we needed to be fast with those sort of things, and having that in the city was so nice. Ormoc has some of the most kind people I've ever met, and I did get to spend a lot more time there than I did in some of my other areas that I lived in. And I was very impressed with the hospitality. I was very impressed with the people. I was very impressed with their kindness and their willing to serve us, even though we were there to serve them. I felt like I belonged there. From the moment I got there, I remember stepping off a van. I had come from Biliran Island, and I had numerous people. I had probably 10 people helping me get my bags, helping me get to where I was going. Someone let me borrow their phone because I was waiting for someone to come pick me up, and there were some problems with it. They didn't know where I was, but because of the kindness of those strangers, I was able to get where I was going. I didn't feel lost. I didn't feel scared, and I felt like they wanted to help me. They wanted to make sure I was going to be okay. And I was just, from the moment I stepped into the city to the moment I left, I was very impressed. And I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with Ormoc. I fell in love with the people there. I fell in love with the culture, even within that city. We would even go to places we'd never been before, to places where they'd never seen people like me or like my companion, missionaries, or even Americans in general. And they were so nice and so welcoming, and they would call us over to talk to us. And if we approached them to talk to them, they were so nice and so generous and so willing to help us with the language and help us learn even just the simplest things, the street names, where the houses were, where people were that we were trying to find. And just all in all, it was a great experience living in the city in Ormoc. And I'll never forget my time there. I'll never forget the people I met there. And I'll never forget anything that I learned there because it was such an amazing experience.